Hi everyone, tonight I'm going to be speaking about 3D printing lithopanes at home. So basically right now there's a revolution going on with 3D printers. Ever since 2012 it's become a lot more accessible to be able to use a 3D printer in your own house. In my case I have a Wanhao i3 Prusa and it's a printer that basically costs $250 and I've been using for the last 2 years. My name is Alfredo Alvarez, and that's my email, in case you ever want to send me a question or anything. So let's get this started. So let's start with what's a lithopane. So lithopanes traditionally were made in porcelain, and it was a really thin layer of porcelain that was carved in the way of a relief, so that you could put an image in it, like etch or mold it, and then you would backlight it. And by backlighting it, depending on the density that you use of the material, you would get an image that you could see. So it would only be seen. So it's cool to use it in architecture and stuff, like on window panes, because it would only be seen when the light hit it. So if you could have a house that you could just basically show that specific lithopane when the sun came out or something like that, or just when you turn off your lights now with electricity. So right now, a lot of people create lithopane lamps, and you can make them at home using 3D printing by using plastics. What you see below, it's the silhouette that I took out in November. I submitted to the December competition. I just did the conversion and turned it into actual lithopane using the depth, using a program called Cura. So what we're gonna do is, on the next few slides, we're actually gonna go through that process, and I'm gonna take a panel and just take it all the way to the end so you guys can see how it's done. So I just wanted to show how the normal 3D printing process goes. This is accelerated about 80 times in the video. So normally printing a lithopane could take like 1 hour or 2, but this is a video from YouTube. It's not actually mine, just because it's a lot cleaner than what I could do. And this is basically the end result of what we're doing. As you can see, the parts, so this is using a translucent material, and it's like translucent white, or transparent white, it's called. And what it does is, the thicker material, the more density, is the less light that it passes through. You can map it in Lightroom to luminosity, and basically use those values to be the ones that come out from the program. And we're gonna actually show that in the demo pretty soon. Alright, so what I'm going to try to do is go through my process. I already selected a picture that I want to edit. I don't think this picture is super great, but I think in particular this picture will make, once fully edited, will make a really nice relief. So what I'm going to go is just go through my process in Lightroom, and then go all the way to Cura, and end up with the file just so you guys can see it. So the first thing I'm going to do is, just like in my normal processing, I'm going to go for edit. So the reason I think this picture is good is because I think it has like a lot of depth, and it's very contrasty. So the first thing I'm going to do is just do my crop. In this case, I'm just getting closer to the hole. The net's in focus, the hole's not in focus on the mesh, but that's what I want to actually do from a picture. So I'm going to lighten it up because it's not correctly exposed right now. And I'm just going to cut a little bit here, just so we don't end up with that weird white on top. Next thing we're going to do is just turn the picture black and white. So I'm just going to go black and white. And then, like I said, like I was saying before, we want it to be decently contrasty. So in this case, with this picture, you can't really explode the whites too much, because then you won't end up with anything. But what I'm going to do is lower the blacks, just to there. So you got a lot of blacks. I'm going to open up the shadows because I want those details to keep up. And I'm going to take the highlights and bring it down all the way down. So this is what we basically end up with the picture. And that's kind of like the normal process of what I do. Normally, I try to, when I'm going to do, and this doesn't look very good on the monitor, but it actually helps make it look better at the end. I try to put the clarity all the way to the end. And now the picture is ready, at least the part in Lightroom. So I'm going to go hit export. I'm just going to save it somewhere. So now the picture is exported. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open a program that I mentioned before. The name is Cura. So this is Cura, and this is a program where we actually turn into a Lithopane. So this one's really simple, just because, and I wanted to show it because I think it's like one of the easiest way of doing it. So if you go to desktop, and I go to tutorial, and I come here, and I tell all files, I should be able to see the image I just exported. So here it is, that's the image I just exported. So if I hit open, it's gonna open the options. Normally I tend to make this 20, and then I keep the settings at 79 and 118. Okay, so, and I normally make the base be 3. It's what I normally standardly use. And then where it says lighter is higher, so you only want to use lighter it's higher when you're actually using glow in the dark materials. In my case, I normally print in non-glow in the dark, just transparent. So I'm going to put darker is higher. Smoothing, I don't really want it to smooth it too much, so I'm just going to give it like one click and hit OK. Now it's going to go and actually generate the relief. So what we can do here is flip it, so we can verify that it looks like we expected. So it's doing some slicing, so we need to wait for it to process. Slicing is the process in which it actually picks up the layers. So what we want to come here is, the other thing we want to move here is the infill. We want to make it solid, because otherwise it's going to like get in between us. Alright, as we can see, this already finished processing, and you can actually see here that the part that we left black on top, it's just completely flatter, and then all of this is coming out at you. So like I was saying before, you want to make sure the infill is either solid or hollow. Personally, I would use solid. What else am I going to say? So one thing that I did not really show is that when I did the image and I exported it, I didn't use my normal high quality settings. I exported in low. For 3D printers, there's no point in exporting high quality. The printer doesn't have the resolution that your normal 2D inkjet does. So it's okay to print images like, I don't know, like 1 megabyte files print okay. So this is actually ready now. And right now it's slicing because I moved it to solid. So slicing is a pretty complicated process, and it takes quite a while. But you can go and like move around and take a look at your image, or in this case your Lithopane. So once you're done with that, all we need to do is export it. So we go save selection to file. If you're printing it in your machine, what you want to do is save it into G-code. But in this case, I'm just going to save it as a file that's going to let go. You know, we're going to like save it somewhere. It's going to be called net. So once you hit save, that's the file that you're going to take and use to actually either send it to a printer or print it at your home. So normally sending, for example, my printer is G-code. So I would do a G-code file instead of SDL. So right now, this is basically how you create an image. So you see that it will take a little while saving, just because the files are pretty big. So it's like instructions for every single layer. So now it's saved in there. Okay. So I just quickly want to summarize what we did together. Basically, this was the image we started here on the left. We went and processed it through Lightroom, similarly to what we normally do with a picture, except that it was in black and white, and we cared more about the luminosity values than anything else. And particularly, we just used the highlights and the water with things like we pretty much maxed out the clarity, just to be able to get detail into the tool. And last, we imported into Cura, create an STL, which actually creates our Lithopane and gets it ready for printing. And this is basically the process that we're gonna do. So this image is actually gonna be in my Thingiverse, which is a place where you can host files that you create so other people can download them. Okay, so I just want to talk a little bit. So I've done a lot of trial and error on the materials for this. And I just want to talk about the ones that work and the ones that I think are really, really awful. So most of the transparent materials from Hatchbox are really, really good, except for the white. For some reason, every single time I've done white for Lithopanes, I had a lot of the light not going through very well, or just illuminating one part and not the other ones, and not showing up the way it wants. So I moved from using Hatchbox white in transparent to Maker Geeks. So their normal white's really good, but their transparent one is not. So if I'm doing a transparent one, I use the white from Maker Geeks. So So if you have something that's deeper, have more levels, you want to use transparent. If you don't, if you only have like 1 or 2 layers of levels, you might want to go just with the normal white from Hatchbox. So MakerGeek's a little bit more expensive. Hatchbox is the line of material that comes in Amazon. So you buy this in spools. A spool will last for a long time. Honestly, last time I think I printed 120, maybe 140 pieces before my spool went out. I mostly use PLA. There's people that done it with ABS and other plastics. PLA is the one that's worked for me the best. It's not UV resistant, so if you leave your lithopane exposed to UVs, it will destroy itself. It just basically becomes really, really hard. So things that haven't worked at all. Any wood or metal filament, really, they're not translucent at all. They're just really, really hard. You need to go really, really thin if you want some translucency. And they just end up being really brittle. And all the dark colors, I would say anything past aqua blue, closer to black, just doesn't really work. It just becomes kind of like the same thing. You have to do really, really thin layers and don't work like that. So I haven't talked too much about how to actually use the printer because that's a really long talk and there's a bunch of settings. But you can go to websites like shapeways.com and just get them printed there. So I just want to show you there's different programs. The easiest one is go to this website 3dp.rocks/lithopane. It's fully online and automated. Below it's the Kura one, which is the one I demoed. And then the hardest one that I use a lot for specific cases is OpenSCAD. And I use that in particular when I want to take more than one lithopane and combine it into a box. So I have some programs that I've written that actually do that for me. So OpenSCAD's like a programming language for this. Okay, so last slide, I just put some reference in there so you guys can go check it out. I'm actually going to send everyone a PDF with this slide and instructions. Hopefully you guys like it. And that's all I actually have for today. I will be answering questions right after the video ends. Thank you very much for listening.